everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
The whole dude's premise is that I was a cop and I was on the street. You were on the streets of Tucson.
Yes.
The stanking streets of Tucson. You know, when he left, you know what Tucson is a city. It's a growing city, obviously. It has 500,000 people. You know what percentage of black people Tucson had? 3.6%. So that's roughly 19,000 people. And out of those 19,000 people, about half of them are probably women, right?
Right.
Some of them are children and old people, right? So you might be down to 2,000 or 3,000 people. And those 2,000 or 3,000 people that you police gave you this insight, and now you know how to make police stops.
Clown.
You had more black people in your house than you stopped.
Wow.
But he plays this thing, and what he does, he plays the thing like he has such experiences. And that's why he's always, like, even with the Sandra Massey thing, real policemen, people were really, like, I don't know, I'm sure that urban policing has a challenge in any city, but he plays it like he was in Harlem and Compton, like he was in Memphis.
For 20 years.
You in Tucson.
Yeah, Tucson.
If you pulled over, they're the same two people.
It's always the same thing with you. I'm that guy.
Listen, but he has this thing, this whole affect, and the way he calls himself officer. You were officer for 6 years, a community relations dude, and now you talk as if you stop people.
Yeah. And when did you become a detective?
He
And
was none of
where
that.
did you get the experience for that?
And you're a shitty influencer too. But this dude, you won't debate me. He went on what was that?
Jubilee.
Oh, the Jubilee. 20
The Jubilee was an embarrassment, and also he meant to say Sonia Massey. Rest in peace of Sonia Massey. She was gunned down by police, and Officer Tatum made it seem as if she threw a pot of water on him, and it was justified. Well, what happened to Sonia Massey was not justified. The woman was going through a mental health situation, and I think there needs to be more police who know how to understand, the signs of mental health. But again, to be a nurse, it takes years. To be a doctor, it takes years. But to be a police officer doesn't take it. All you need is a 2-year associate's degree to become a police officer. And I think 6 weeks of training. And at this point, there's hardly any physical requirements to become a police officer.
Somebody whipped his ass.
Yeah, man. It was crazy.
And they were college kids, most
He
of
thought
them.
he could do like what he is. It must be horrible because his master's gone.
Yeah.
His master's gone, so now he got to try to replicate. He's an idiot.
He is an idiot.
Who told this feeble-minded imp that he was a mental giant?
I never seen nobody get on that 20v1 and get their ass whooped by all
By
20.
everybody.
By everybody.
It was a janitor that asked him questions.
Yeah. Let me put this mop down.
And
Did
put my
you
foot
read
in this
the
dude's
book?
ass. And it's a whole gimmicky thing. The thing that was out of all the things that he said that I found the most insulting, this is what he said about the Tulsa race riot.
Are we on the same page of what happened in the Tulsa riots? Tulsa race war?
It depends. What do you think happened?
Well, I know what happened. There was a conflict between black and white people. There was a fight between the two. White people got the best of black people in Tulsa.
Boy, he said white people got the best of black people in Tulsa as if it was like a boxing match. Like it was, man, to say it like that is insensitive to what actually happened. It's really, and then he really goes on to say that, a black person took the first shot, which I'm pretty sure all white nationalists would argue that point, except that Officer Tatum is black. So him arguing that point is kind of strange. Also, that the people who were in the people who were in that, there were people in that situation that died or were injured that had nothing to do with the initial incident. So to take out businesses and things of that nature, it's kind of insensitive to, it is insensitive to say that white people got the best of black people when they were hurting women and children alone. There were kids that died that day. But listen to officer race bait him Tatum, you would think that it was just a bunch of grown men that were injured. No, it was actual women and children.
Then no, we are not on the same page.
Well,
no.
let me finish. Let me finish, and you tell me where I'm wrong. In that fight, there was a lot of black businesses destroyed in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They rebuilt, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years later, and they begin to continue to succeed. Is that not factual?
No.
What's the truth? What happened then?
I mean, the truth is that a community of successful black people who were succeeding under capitalism were directly targeted because
They were not
of
directly
that
targeted. It was a
success.
conflict.
Yeah.
He said they were directly targeted. They weren't directly targeted, as if, I mean, what would they be doing if they weren't directly targeted? Like, we heard the guy. If you watch me, you'll see. If you watch Everyday PJ Politics, make sure y'all follow me on Everyday PJ Politics, right? If you watch me on there, then you'll see, a guy who talks about what actually happened. And so there was no direct target. They were directly targeting one person. And because other black people intervened along with the police department, along with the Tulsa Police Department, the whites, the white mob, of course, came through, and they got people from all over. They didn't just get people from Tulsa.
The conflict between a black man, I believe it was a black man.
It started
and
when a
white.
black man was accused of lynching,
No,
or not
it
lynching,
was
was
not
accused
lynching.
of raping a woman, and then because of that, there was this
The
anger and a
inappropriate
mob
behavior
started.
inappropriate behavior with a woman. There was a conflict that occurred. The first shots rang out from black people, shooting and killing several white people. And
So
then,
how many black people were killed in total?
Oh,
So black people was just running around with guns, and white people didn't have no guns. I guess that's what he's saying.
I don't know how many black people killed in total. I just know black people fired
Well,
the
I
first
do.
shot.
Can I tell you?
Well,
It was
okay.
300.
How many
and
white
that's
people were killed?
like a low
How many white people were
estimate.
killed?
They not as many because it was a riot
Because
against
what
the
happened
black
was
community.
white people came up into Tulsa, Oklahoma. It became a
Can I ask
violent
you a question?
confrontation, and white people overran the black people in that
Can
confrontation.
I ask you? Because it kind of feels like you're defending the race rioters.
I'm
a
not
little bit.
defending any race riots. I'm saying
It
it's a
does.
conflict that happened.
Can
You're
you
saying
acknowledge
that it's
that this
targeted.
is one example
You're
in which
saying-
white people hurt black people
No,
unjustly?
you're saying.
Can you just say this is one?
What you're trying to say is that black people are doing their own thing, and a bunch of white people just came up and destroyed all their property just because.
Yes.
That wasn't what happened.
That
It was a
wasn't what-
conflict.
So,
it was a
okay.
conflict that occurred that caused that to happen.
But you know the KKK existed, right?
They did.
Yes,
In
white
the
supremacy
South.
exists, and that was in
In
the
the
South. Where's
South.
Oklahoma?
I didn't say that white supremacy don't exist. We're not arguing that.
Yes, that was the point, though.
I'm not arguing that the Ku Klux Klan didn't have a negative effect in the black community. We're not arguing that.
But that's what we are arguing. The whole point of this prompt is that black people hurt the black community more than white people.
So,
and these are some examples
okay.
of white people hurting the black community. And
Let's-
every time I give you one, you say no.
Let's give
that ain't
an
happening.
example of.
Now, a lot of people, I remember Tom Hanks wrote an article, and he had never heard, and this was a couple of years ago, he'd never heard of the Tulsa race riot because it's something they won't publicize. It's something they don't talk about. But you know what galls the shit out of me? That the first time many people will hear about it is through that big coon's lips, lying lips.
Right.
That you can't find anybody to give that account anywhere, but he can do it, and he lies with impunity. A debate isn't me making some lies up and you making some lies up. It is somebody saying what is true and what isn't.
Correct.
He lies for convenience, and they got into a fight. And then, do you know that it was the first time in American history where citizens of this country were bombed from the sky. People got in airplanes and dropped explosives on black people. 300 black people died, and he acts as if it was a disagreement. There was almost the equivalent of $2 billion in damage. It was so destructive that they had mass graves all over the country, all over the city. It was so destructive that area will never come back again. And you play it as if nothing happened. And that's the thing about these kind of people. There is no lie they won't tell. It doesn't have to come from a book. It doesn't have to come from a professor. It doesn't have to come from an expert. He will, as long as it comes from a white man's lips, he believes it, and he will repeat it. The whole dude.
Hey, now, listen. I think people who listen, man. I don't have no problem with people who have more friends with white people than they do with black people. I got a friend He's a black guy, but born in the country, right? He dips. He wears cowboy stuff. All his friends are white. His wife is white. But he would never, ever say, not in it, and at the same time, he doesn't like the hood stuff. He don't like the hood stuff, right? But when I tell you, that man would never, ever discredit history. And he always will stand on the right side of history. And he has all white friends. And his white friends, if they now they wouldn't dare say nothing to him, because that dude was like ox strong, big black dude. So, you know, I got white friends, man. And I would never let my friends use the N-word. But Brandon Tatum is the type that let his friends use the N-word. I mean, being a police officer, you heard him say in Tucson, Arizona. Man, everywhere Arizona is full of Hispanics. Black and white people are the minorities in Arizona. So, you know, I just find it crazy. And there's a bunch of Native Americans in Arizona. There are a bunch of Native Americans in New Mexico. And I didn't even know how many Native Americans it actually is in those areas. But it is. It's a good share of them. But, you know, just to hear Brandon Tatum say the stuff he do, man, it's so disrespectful. And I don't want to call him a coon or nothing like that, even though it's very coonish. But I hope that he, you know, he don't even have to come to the light. Like it's not even a thing where you got to be like, oh, he needs to correct himself. No, he don't have to correct himself in a way, but he just needs to understand that the things he's doing is detrimental to society and it's not helping anybody. And then it's especially not helping black people. And there's another conservative that I watch and I listen to. For the most part, he doesn't like the ghetto black people stuff like that. He don't like the ghetto prom or whatever. He don't like, you know, whenever black people are congregating together in groups and then fights break out. Of course, I wouldn't like it either, but I don't go out and speak ill on black people for the most part. But if I see some nigga stuff, I'm gonna call it out, right? But Brandon Tatum, anytime something black happens, you can guarantee Brandon Tatum is against it. Brandon Tatum is against black people celebrating. He's against black people dying from well, he's for black people dying by the hands of police, because he'll always try to find a way to make it the black person's fault. And that's so strange. You can't be saved from that. But, you know, I know white people that take up for black people more than Brandon Tatum. It ain't even take up for him. It's saying the realities of things and being honest with yourself. If you want me to be honest with myself, I can tell you about a lot of black stuff that I disapprove of. But it's just a way of life. I can tell you a lot of black stuff that I did when I was younger and I disapprove of it. Now that I'm older, yeah, I disapprove of it. I had a change of heart. I learned, I grew. Brandon Tatum never was around black people to even understand black people. And the crazy part is he got black sons. And if your black sons leave out your house and it's gunned down by a cop, I want you to get out there and go and say, it wasn't the cop's fault. My son, he was black and he probably deserved it. Because that's weird. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section.